Pacific Palisades.
My parents lived.
Your parents lived in Pacific Palisades.
And I lived in Riverside. I'd go in to see him, and he and I usually walk out Santa Monica Pier and sit at the end of the, there's a big area at the end of the pier with chairs and benches. So we'd go out there, and he'd be talking about, one time he talked a lot about things he would do different in his life. And one thing, looking back on it, that he would do different is, he said, he would have stayed at Stanford.
Yeah.
They had such a gorgeous house. Everything at Stanford was really nice. And he got kind of sideways at Stanford, not with the school in any sense, but what happened was he got a one-year job as the federal agencies often would steal people from universities for 1 year at a time. So they stole him for 1 year first for the, oh God, what was that first agency that he went with?
The National, was it a science organization? National Science Organization?
Yeah, it was one of the science things. Anyway. Oh, I think it was the Office of Naval Research.
Oh, the Office of Naval Research. Okay.
Because he had worked with them during World War II. He was director of the Naval Research Lab at Point Barrow, Alaska during World War II, which was a part-time job. So he went up to Point Barrow and directed the research programs there. And they were mostly directed like getting really good wetsuits for pilots shot down in Arctic waters and stuff like that. So it was interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I used to beg him to take me on one of his trips to Point Barrow, but he never did. He thought it was a little bit rugged. Might have been. But anyway, so he had a good relationship with the Office of Naval Research. And so they hired him for a year to go to Washington. And then he extended it for another year. So, and Stanford was okay with that. So they gave him another year's leave of absence. And then he got another job offer. Well, he was offered the job of founding chairman of the Department of Physiology at the brand new UCLA Medical School. And that looked like a very promising thing. So he took that. But before he went back there for that, before he went on that year, he got another one-year job in Washington. I'm trying to remember what that is. Maybe my other thing, I've written it down. But anyway, I'll come up with it one day. So things were in limbo for a long time. And then we were in Washington for what, 2 or 3 years, whatever it was. So I went to Leland Junior High and then 2 years to Sidwell Friends, so I guess we were there for 3 years.
Where they played Powder Puff soft football. Powder Puff soft football.
None of the teams I played on were ferocious football teams. If you ever catch me in a moment where I'm talking about it like them, don't go titch-titch at me about it. It's just not
Well,
true.
that's why you were able to be a judge later. You weren't playing ferocious football.
My college coach was the only tough coach I ever had. I mean, physically tough. He was a wonderful guy, very nice guy. Anyway, but he was tough as a rock. Jesus Christ, solid muscle. God, our whole team was scared of him.
And this was where?
At UCR.
At UCR.
Yeah.
And they dropped football later, so no more football for UCR.
Yeah, they dropped it. Well,
Like 69 or something, when it
whatever.
fell out of favor with the hippie generation.
Well, it just, UCR couldn't compete. They didn't have scholarship money. They didn't have all this kind of stuff. If you're not going to play at that level, you can't compete. So you might as well play against the other elementary schools or something.
Oh, they could have done better than that, I'm sure.
It was fun. UCR was fun. There were a lot of things like that about UCR. Because they were formative years.
Yeah.
And I really liked that part about that. Well, first, nobody had ever heard of UCR. You know, when UCR first opened, it was brand new. Nobody heard about it, but faculty brats heard about it because their parents had heard about it, so they knew about it.
Wait, I'm going to stop it right here because otherwise it'll take me forever.